It's gonna be the best Christmas ever. So I took the kids to New York to see a show.
Sounds pretty cool to me.
And then people started trying to kill us.
Actually, it's pretty bad.
Things have gotten complicated. Probably should have brought more guys. Oh, good. You did.
Marvel's Hawkeye.
It's just some Christmas.
First 2 episodes streaming November 24th. Only on Disney+.
Welcome back, everyone. This will be my brand new Marvel Hawkeye trailer video. They just dropped some new footage to explain what's going on with the schedule and the episodes. They changed a couple little things, but there's a bunch of new Easter eggs here, and this is all going to be overlapping with what's going on with Spider-Man No Way Home. So if you're brand new to my channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the episodes. I will be doing full episodes videos for this, just like I did for the Loki series, for WandaVision, for the other Marvel Disney Plus series. And we've also got new Star Wars episodes coming before the end of the year too, so I'll explain that at the end of the video as well. When we get closer, I'll also start the giveaway for Disney Plus memberships again too. But the big surprise here is that they're releasing the first 2 Hawkeye episodes together on the same day, because if they didn't do that, a lot of you did the math on this, there are 6 episodes in Hawkeye. They would have originally had the Hawkeye finale releasing on the exact same day as episode 1 of the Mandalorian spin-off Book of Boba Fett, which is releasing on December 29th. There's also this meta Easter egg with the whole Christmas of it all that's going on during the trailer. So during the Hawkeye trailer, the big conceit is that he's trying to get home in time for Christmas. Like, this is all leading up to the Christmas holiday. Like in the last trailer, I talked about how they're going for a very Die Hard kind of vibe because it's taking place around the Christmas holiday. Like Die Hard 2, with him trying to get home to his family for the holidays. Hawkeye trying to get home to his family in time for Christmas. So the Marvel people also kind of wanted the Hawkeye finale to air December 22nd, the Wednesday right before Christmas, so that the twist would make sense, so that Hawkeye would inevitably make it home to be with his family on his farm for Christmas. So now, because they're doubling up on episode 1 and episode 2 on the same day, the finale will air right before Christmas. So even though Yelena Belova is going to do everything in her power, along with Maya Lopez's Echo and the New York City Mafia, like the tracksuit mafia from the comics, to kill Hawkeye, it sounds like they won't be successful, and he will make it home alive. All these twists does make it seem like he's wearing a little bit of plot armor, but I think that's the whole idea. Like, they're not killing off the Hawkeye character. Even though there's this whole thing with him feeling guilty about letting Natasha sacrifice herself and him not being the one to sacrifice himself on Vormir, they actually addressed that during the Marvel What If episodes. There was a What If episode in an alternate universe where Hawkeye is the one to sacrifice himself, and it was meant to be a big twist on the Avengers Endgame scene with Black Widow. The other cool connection to Spider-Man No Way Home and what's going on during the Hawkeye episodes, because this is all happening around the Christmas holiday, is that Spider-Man No Way Home in real life is hitting theaters right before the Hawkeye finale. And even though we didn't really see it in the last Spider-Man No Way Home trailer, some of that movie, just based on footage and scenes that we saw while they were filming, seems like it takes place during the holidays because it's snowing in this scene when Tom Holland's Spider-Man is walking down the street to find MJ. Later in this scene when they were filming, you find that she's working as a waitress inside this store here. When we saw that, we didn't really know what was going on because we hadn't learned about the Doctor Strange of it all, with him completely messing with the multiverse, tying together a bunch of different timelines, sewing it together so that people would forget that he was Spider-Man. So I'll talk more about what's going on with these characters when we get our next big Spider-Man No Way Home trailer, which should actually happen pretty soon. But it just seems like what's happening here towards the end of Spider-Man No Way Home at some point during the plot is also happening concurrently while Hawkeye is also running around in New York City with Kate Bishop. But the other funny thing that you see from this new Hawkeye footage is that they totally saw all your comments and questions about Laura Barton. No joke. There were a significant portion of people on my Hawkeye trailer videos last month that thought that something terrible had happened to her because she wasn't anywhere in this footage. The footage here just confirmed my theory that she did not come to New York City to see the show with Captain America. As Hawkeye tells Kate Bishop later in the trailer, "Take my kids to a show in New York City and have some fun for the Christmas holiday." So Laura Barton is fine, nothing terrible has happened to her, and they just joke on the phone, like, "Oh, it sounds like you're gonna need a couple more days in the city," and he's like, "Yeah, better make it a couple." And if it wasn't clear, because it's been a hot minute since we've actually been to Hawkeye's farm in Avengers Endgame, his farm is actually way back in Missouri. He lives in the Midwest. His farm isn't in New York City or anything like that. So when he says he brought his kids to New York City for the show, for the Captain America musical, Rogers, that means they took a flight and it was this whole big thing. We also see way more scenes from that Captain America Avengers musical. The reason why it's called Rogers is because it's centered all around Captain America's life, but most of the footage of the actual play that we see in the trailer is from the events of the first Avengers movie, if it wasn't clear. Like you see Iron Man flying up, like he's flying up into the Chitauri portal to close it so they can't bring the rest of their fleet through. And I love the way that Hawkeye reacts to all this too, like you see the look on his face. If you've ever seen Avatar: The Last Airbender, it's like the Ember Island Players episode where Team Avatar has to watch their story of the previous episodes be told in play form. And it winds up making them realize how awkward and cringy some of the things that they did were, like Zuko trying to capture Aang all throughout season 1, and they have almost the exact same reaction to it that Hawkeye is having here, watching the play version of the first Avengers movie, like, wait a minute, what? When that last Hawkeye trailer dropped, there were so many people that saw this scene of fake Thor and thought that somehow this was secretly Chris Evans cameoing inside the Hawkeye series as another character, but I believe they've already confirmed that this is not Chris Evans. It's just somebody who looks kind of like Chris Evans. There's a bunch of new scenes with him in the back of that cab with Kate Bishop. I'm assuming, just based on the way the series seems like it's playing out, that she either doesn't start using the Hawkeye name officially until the next project she appears in, like the next Disney Plus series, or Clint Barton Hawkeye tells her she can use the name at the end of the finale. Because the whole joke here is that he catches her inside the Ronin costume and she's going around New York City being a vigilante, pretending like she's the Ronin character that the mobsters have been so afraid of since Avengers Endgame. That's what Hawkeye is talking about when he talks about his past coming to bite him in the ass, having this reckoning, because during that 5-year time jump when he was going around the world as Ronin, he was mostly going around killing all the Mafia members who survived the snap. And at some point, I think it's just implied that he threw away the costume and somehow Kate Bishop found it and started using it. It is just part of her comic book origin story where she tries to be a vigilante inspired by Hawkeye's actions. Early theory, the way they adapt her origin story is that at some point during that 5-year time jump, she also was not snapped, and when Hawkeye was going around as Ronin, he inadvertently saved her from some Mafia members, and that's what inspired her to become a vigilante like Hawkeye Ronin. The minor change in the comics is that he wasn't Ronin when that happened, but he did the exact same thing in the comics, and that's why she wanted to become like Hawkeye. But she didn't start calling herself Hawkeye till after the Matt Fraction run when they were training together, and that's what most of the series is actually based on, is that Matt Fraction run. You could post all your theories in the comments about which new Marvel movie you think that she'll show up in next, because the whole idea is that the Marvel Disney Plus series are supposed to feed into the movies, like the characters will appear in the movies. Even though they're positioning the Tracksuit Mafia as the main villains of the Hawkeye episodes per this trailer, really it's meant to be something deeper going on with Kate Bishop's family, because her mother's being played by Vera Farmiga and she does not play small roles, so I'm assuming that'll be a change from the comics. There's Maya Lopez's Echo character who gets hired by the mob. Now the rumor is that Kingpin is also going to have a cameo in this, like the Daredevil Netflix version of Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin. So if we're talking about who's really pulling the strings behind all this mafia stuff in New York City, it really would be him. And with all the Maya Lopez Echo stuff, we already know that they're doing a full-blown spin-off for that. And if you didn't see my previous video, what's being reported right now is that the plan is for Marvel to bring back the Daredevil Netflix characters for the Maya Lopez Echo series. And that's supposed to feel like an unofficial kind of Daredevil Season 4, and then they'll set that up for a full-blown Daredevil revival series on Disney+. We haven't seen him in the trailer, but one of the other classic Hawkeye villains from the comics is supposed to be in this, called Swordsman, and I think that he's supposed to be working with Eleanor Bishop, Kate Bishop's mother. So that's why there's all these theories about Kate Bishop's mother being one of the secret villains of the series. Supposedly, Madame Mask is also supposed to appear during the series as well, so either that could be a new character, or Madame Mask could wind up being Kate Bishop's mother. This scene of Hawkeye going full Iron Man, working on this piece of hardware here, looks like him just working on one of his trick arrows or one of his bows, just because of the way they set up this big joke with all of his trick arrows later in the trailer. Wait, we're out of regular arrows? Trick arrows have long time been a staple of the Hawkeye comics, going all the way back to the classic comics, but you don't really see a ton of them in the Avengers movies in the MCU, but he has used trick arrows in the movies on occasion. When we get some more footage, I'll talk more about what's going on with Yelena Belova and Val, because I think we're all expecting a Val post-credit scene where she shows up and either recruits Maya Lopez's Echo or just has something to cap that scene of the Black Widow post-credit scene. Clearly, somebody wants Hawkeye dead inside the US government. Everybody get hype. Also, while I was working on this Hawkeye trailer video, Tom Holland made this big Spider-Man No Way Home announcement about how it's basically the end of Spider-Man as you know him right now. They did a brand new preview for the movie, so I'll do a big breakdown of that, explain what that means and what the future of Spider-Man is in my next video that should post tomorrow. Everyone click here for that new Marvel Daredevil announcement to learn about him coming back, and click here for that brand new Guardians of the Galaxy 3 Adam Warlock announcement. Thank you so much for watching, everyone stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.